Please stand for the singing of our national anthem. Please stand for the singing of our national anthem.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Stormy the road we trod, bitter the chase.
All right. Let's give a round of applause. Welcome, everybody. We thank you all for being here today. Just a quick couple announcements. Before we go into that, I just want to introduce myself for those that don't know who I am. My name is Phil Davis. I'm an assistant director with the Canisius University Academic Talent Search Program, and we want to welcome you here today. On behalf of our program, we thank you all for coming out and being a part of our evening. Just real quick announcements, and then we're going to go right into the program. Students, you must be accompanied by your chaperones at all times. If any student needs to use the restroom, they must be escorted by a chaperone. Also be sure that during the program, please put your mobile devices away. We want you to make sure that you're paying attention to all the information that we're going to be giving you today, because you're going to receive a lot of good information. If you have any emergency, please let your counselor know or your chaperone know, so that way you can go out in the hallway and take care of whatever you need to take care of. Before we get things rolling, I want to bring up our director, Miss Caffey. She's the reason that you all are here today. Let's give her a round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. And thank you for coming out today. It's so cold out there, but I really appreciate all of you students that come and get the information that we have for you today. I'm sure you'll be inspired by all of our guests that we have, and they will in turn be inspired by you. So thank you once again for coming out, and we'll talk later, okay? Have a good time.
All right, at this time, we would like to introduce to some of you the president of Canisius University, Mr. Stephen Stout, to give an address. Mr. Stout.
Morning. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. Thank you for being here. We are very appreciative. As you heard, I'm Steve Stout. I am the president of Canisius University. I am the 25th president of Canisius University, and I'm the youngest president ever in 153 years. And we're here to talk about history and black history, I think. I am the first black president of my university in 153 years. And the only thing I really want you to hear from me today is I'm not special. I am not special. I never imagined when I was your age that I would have the opportunity to do what I do every day and to lead this institution. I wasn't particularly smart. I worked harder than everybody else. I worked harder than everyone else. You have everything you need to be successful in this life. You have everything you need right now, today. And I just want to ask you to commit yourself to whatever it is you want to accomplish in life. You decide who you want to be. You decide what you want to achieve. Do not let anyone else make that decision for you. Don't let them take your power. You own your future. What I say about our university and what I say to my teammates and my colleagues all the time is every single young person has potential. It is our responsibility as a university, it is our responsibility as educators to help you achieve your fullest potential. I'm incredibly grateful for Ms. Caffey and her team at Academic Talent Search for all the work they do in our community, in our schools, to help open doors to a college education. I encourage you to think about what your future would look like. And if college is part of it, come get to know us at Canisius. Come get to know who we are and what we're about. And it doesn't matter if you go to Canisius or not. If you want to go to college and you set your mind on that goal, we'll be here to help you. We'll be here to help you. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see what you accomplish with your lives, in your future, because it will be bold, it will be brilliant, it will be bright. Keep doing the good things you're doing. Keep working hard. God bless you. Have a great day.
All right. Now I want to do something a little different. Where my seniors at? All right. Where my juniors at? Oh, juniors a little bit louder than y'all. Where my sophomores at? We got 4, 5, 6. Where my freshmen at? All right, now we're talking. All right. So, we're about to get started with a great important part of our program, but before I do that, I want to say to all of you, some of you are here, are part of our program, some of you are not. Every experience that you have, a lot of people nowadays like to say, my truth, my truth. I say my experience. For some of you people that are in this audience today, you're going to get everything out of this. You're going to hear from some dynamic speakers. You're going to eat some good food. Some of you might even win some gift cards today. For some of you, you look at this as this is just another day to get out of school and I'm just here. So, your experience is what you make it. If you look at this, if you look around, we have over 6 different schools in this building. And where we are right now, we're inside a church. For some of you, you don't go to church. So for some of you, this is your first time being in a church building. What I would say to you, even if you've never been to church, while you're in here, please respect this house. For those that are believers, this is the house of God. For those that aren't, still respect this house. Get everything you can out of today. network with people. When you network with people, your network determines your net worth. If you want to be a winner, hang around winners. And I'll leave it at that. We cool? We good? All right. I want to say thank you to all of our chaperones, our special guests that are here this evening, this morning. I'm going to turn this over to a friend of mine who is one of the co-sponsors of this event, helping put this panel together. He comes from, actually he's a graduate of Mac High. I'm a graduate of Mac High. Yes, come on, McKinley. And he has a company called Success in Me, and he's going to be able to tell you guys a little bit about that during this panel discussion. But I'm going to turn it over to none other than our moderator for this afternoon and morning, Mr. Sam Hill.
Good morning, good morning. McKinley's in the house? There they go. Phil, thank you. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here with everyone today. Again, my name is Sam Hill. I am with Success in Me. And Success in Me, our mission is to teach you the success skills needed in life and in school. Today, the success skill that we're going to drill in to everyone here is leadership. We're going to talk about the power of leadership. Leadership is the act of guiding a team or individuals to achieve a certain goal through direction and motivation. Now, I'm about to introduce you to my panelists. They are all leaders in their fields. And they come from a lot of different fields. We have attorneys. We have executives. We have authors, entertainers. So please give a round of applause to our panelists. Show them some love. So first up is the Arthur Duncan, attorney at law. He was like, what's going on? It's the music, Tone, it's the music. Next up, we have Shaka Starworth and Dr. Mark Scott. Come on out. All right, and our special guest from the West Coast, we have Daniel Croy and Addison Henderson. Big round of applause. Big round of applause. All right. Good job. All right. I think I'm jealous. I didn't get those screams when I came out here jogging. I think I'm jealous. Okay. So Daniel, introduce yourself and tell us your thoughts on leadership. Let's get right into it.
Hey, my name is Daniel Croy. It's so good to be here. I just want to say it's a total honor to be speaking with you all today and to be with these amazing panelists. My thoughts on leadership, just to put it very simply, is leadership is collaboration. Leadership in many ways is bringing the right people together, and we can't do anything alone. So I think to be a good leader is to really just be open to each other, supporting each other.
Okay, I think, here we go. Oh, I see they got me on some timers so I don't overtalk. Okay, here we go. So leadership for me, my father, I'm from Buffalo, New York. Daniel's from Buffalo too. We just happen to live on the West Coast to do our business. My father was Bishop Henderson, and some of you may know about the Underground Railroad Church and the Nash House on downtown Buffalo. And those were the establishments that I grew up in. And my father was a leader, but also he was a servant of the community. He served the community. And so I always go by this phrase: in order to lead, you must first know how to serve. And that keeps you humble. And so for me is first, being a good leader is also being a servant to your family, a servant to your friends, the people you love, a servant to your community. And it will teach you how to lead those people because you can understand how to deal with people's feelings, people's emotions. And so for me, being a leader encompasses all that. And bringing people together, collaboration, like Daniel said, is a very important aspect because that's what we do in our business, in the film business. You collaborate with people from all across the globe, from different cultures, and it's not easy, but bringing people together and being a good leader makes it enjoyable.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Mark.
Good, thank you. Thank you, Sam. Mark Scott, and I know Sam introduced me as Dr. Scott, but I'm simply Josetta's son. That's my mom, and so I proudly say that. Leadership for me, leading in leadership is about understanding that we can lead from also the back of the line, in the middle of the line, right? So very often we think about having to be in out front and having to be the sort of the loudest voice, but it's okay, right, to lead from the back or the middle of the line. And that means that we are leading with humility and respect for others. We're being thoughtful leaders, and we're being accountable, right? It's being able to look in the mirror and saying, I dropped the ball, I can do better, and I can be in service to other people, into other works. And so those are my sort of general thoughts on leadership. And it's about having the courage to think about who you are and what sort of contributions you want to make to the world, and potentially doing that certainly not by yourself, but with others, and from different positions.
All right, thank you, Mark.
Good morning. So I'm Shaka Stallworth. I'm actually a chief of staff at Verizon. Many of you, I'm sure, may have Verizon in your back pocket or at home. So Verizon.
If you need a discount.
So for me, leadership, right? And I've been in leadership for almost 23 years, and I agree with everyone on this panel that said collaboration. I'm telling you, that is the number one key, is collaborating, because you can't do it alone. But another big factor for me is vision. Being innovative and having that vision and bringing those along with you, because they're going to see that vision, and it's being able to articulate what your vision is. And then again, like I said, bringing them along with you, but that's the key. But I also believe that collaboration is really number one.
All right, thank you. All right, D. Arthur.
Good morning, everyone. My name is D. Arthur Duncan, and I'm a criminal defense attorney. And I hope to never see any of you guys in my office. That means that you've been arrested. I'm being serious, though. Leadership to me is you lead by example. And you can be a leader and don't even know it. People are following your lead because they're looking up to you. And that could be negative as well as positive. So you can be a leader and don't even know it. You don't want to be a follower, you want to be a leader. You want to be someone people look up to, but again, what is your example? Are you doing bad things they're looking up to, or are you doing good things that they're looking up to? So it's something that, it can be an obligation, it could be something that you didn't ask for, but people look up to you because of who you are and what you're doing. And so that makes you a leader. So what are you leading? What are you leading up to? What are you leading your friends into? You just gotta think about that. Are you are the go-to person in your little crew and your friends that people ask you questions and they follow your lead? And you got to think about that. Did my friends do something wrong or get into something bad because I basically steered them in that direction? Or positively, are my friends going to school trying to get good grades because I'm doing the same thing, and we're comparing grades like, oh, I got an A on this, what you get? I got an A minus. So you got to think about being a leader. It's not something that you sign up for, but you can be a leader and don't even know it.
Thank you. Kristen, good morning.
My name is Kristen Elmore Garcia. I'm one of the 3 attorneys now at the law office of John B. Elmore, PC. We are an accident and injury law firm. We help mostly people who suffered accidents at no fault of their own. I'm also a former prosecutor, so it feels in a comfortable position to be on the opposite side of Mr. Duncan. We had to go head to head against each other in court many times, but it was for a common goal, which is to see the end process in the judicial system. For me, being a leader means doing the best that you absolutely possibly can at any stage of your engagement in whatever it is that you're doing. You can come into an entry-level position in school, in your sports teams, in your first internships, in your first jobs, and still be a leader just by demonstrating that you're willing to work hard, that you're willing to learn new things, that you're willing to listen and participate with enthusiasm. You don't have to have your name on the door to be a leader. You don't have to be a captain to be a leader. You don't have to have a fancy title to be a leader, but just demonstrating every single day that your top performance is, to me, what leadership really means.
Thank you. So I'm going to go to you, Daniel. How have people supported your growth as a leader?
One, two. There we go. I really believe that all of our success is interconnected to the people around us. So I think a lot about my grandmother, my family, my community members and my peers, my friends, and how our emergence is mutual. We need each other all of the time. So going back to the idea of leadership, we're all leaders whether we realize it or not. I love the sentiment of there's always someone watching you or looking up to you, whether you know it or not. So for me, it was paying attention to my teachers, my guides, and trying to lead into the example of what I wanted to become. I didn't even really recognize, honestly, I'm so humbled to be on this panel with these incredible people, because it took me a long time to realize that people were even looking to me as a leader. You know, so I just think it's really important to remember that the choices you make every day are being acknowledged. So what do you want to inspire in others? What do you want to leave behind?
All right, thank you. So Addison, who are your role models?
Okay, here we go. I'm working. Okay. Who are my role models? You know, from the very beginning, you heard me talk about my father, Bishop Henderson, my number one role model. Growing up, I had a lot of people that I came in contact with that just really supported me and uplifted me. People that used to come visit and be at my dad's church would take me to plays at Ujima Theater when I was young. It was very, very positive for me to see that, oh, okay, this is something that I can do, you know. And then on my mother's side, in New Jersey, my uncle, Jeff Friday, who has the American Black Film Festival, he was the first kind of like businessman I saw that was like successful. And he used to take me on the trains to New York City with him when he was going into his meetings, when he was first starting the festival, and he was working at Uniworld, and he was doing some publicity for Amistad. And he said, Addison, I got this new idea I want to do for independent filmmakers that look like us. And it's the American Black Film Festival. And I can remember when he closed the deal, and he was like, it's happening. And now, almost 30 years later, it's still going, right? See, that's a role model. My father, that's a role model. And even now, like, yeah, I'm a grown man, but I still have role models now. People who kind of mentor me, like the brother I never knew I needed, Joseph Wilson. He's the showrunner for Queen Latifah's show, The Equalizer. You know, he was responsible for helping me get my first narrative feature done, you know, and now we have a project that we're taking in the studios. So that's my role model, you know, and so there's a swath of people that have come into my life that have been role models, but these are the three people that stand, you know, that are at the front facing of it.
All right, thank you. Okay, Mark. Mark, are leaders made or born? I'm sorry, Dr. Mark.
Just Josetta's son. Just Josetta's son. I think that's a really good question, Sam. You know, I think a lot of us are born into situations, right, that will test us, and that will sort of shape our thinking and worldview on things. And so I think when people are born, we're all sort of born into this world, you know, through a set of circumstances that ultimately will determine who we are to become. And so I don't know that we're born leaders, but we're born into a set of circumstances that will shape who we become as people in the world and as global citizens. And so I think we're sort of made, all right, if you will, over time. Every day we're faced with decisions. Do we go right? Do we go left? Who do we build relationships with? And we learn from that, and we apply, hopefully, right, to our next decision, to our next action in life. So from my perspective, I think leaders are made.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you. So, Shaka, you work for a very large corporate organization, and you are a leader in that organization. Share your thoughts on building trust and collaboration as a leader.
Sure. So, and I think I mentioned it before, collaboration is definitely key because you can't do it alone. And I work with some really great leaders, and me collaborating with them have really put me to a level, you know, even today that I can say, if it wasn't for them, you know, assisting me and helping me, mentoring me, leading and helping me grow, I wouldn't really be where I would be today. And then it is definitely trusting. It's hard, especially in the business world, it's hard to build trust with anyone. Even today in school, right, it's hard to build trust. Let me tell you, when you get, and if you do, you know, if you end up working in an industry that I do, it's even harder. It's harder to build trust with anyone. But I have, you know, as years have gone, I've definitely built a lot of trust with a lot of the leaders that I have today, and collaborating with them. So building trust and collaborating with them has definitely been difficult, but as time goes on, it has, you know, it has gotten easier.
Thank you, thank you. So, The Arthur, I know your journey. As you reflect back on the days of high school, what would you tell your younger self?
Don't sell drugs.
So why do you say that?
Because you guys see me, I am a criminal defense attorney, but I am also a convicted felon, and I did 3 years in federal prison for selling drugs. Unbelievable, right? I'm from the hood. I'm from downtown. Anybody here from 31 downtown? Run hand. Don't be ashamed. I still got 31 downtown tattooed on my arm. And basically you got to make a choice, and I made a bad choice. When I talked about being a leader and setting an example, well, I set a bad example in my neighborhood. Everybody looked up to me because I was the neighborhood drug dealer. I was a part of a crew downtown, and if anybody don't know what downtown is, y'all from Buffalo, Jefferson, William, Broadway, Jefferson Projects, that's where I'm from. And so basically I had a crew, it was about 8, 9 of us, that we sold drugs, we carried guns, we fought in the clubs, we traveled to Atlanta, New York. I mean, we was out there. And I wind up getting indicted by the federal authorities and doing 3 years in federal prison. So my example as a leader when I was younger was people looked up to me as the neighborhood drug dealer, and they wanted to be like me. And unfortunately, the generation behind me that looked up to me while I was standing on the corner, then they became drug dealers and sold drugs and went to jail. People was getting killed, and it was like it snowballed. So I set a bad example. I was a leader negatively, and that's what I was talking about in the beginning. However, I was able to change my life when I got out of jail, go to school, become an attorney, and now I'm setting the example as a leader in a positive light. So you guys right now, you're in high school, you gotta make a decision of what you wanna do. If you wanna follow the bad people, you're gonna end up in jail, and you're gonna end up coming to see me, paying thousands of dollars because now you're in trouble. So you gotta do positive things. So if I knew in high school to do the positive things and to go to school and to go to college and do positive things, that's what I wish I would have done. When I was in high school, I wanted to be the cool kid, play basketball, hang with the popular people. But that led me into selling drugs, and the popular people were the drug dealers. And so that's what I wanted to be. And I didn't go with my A game. What was my A game? I was smart. But I didn't want to be smart. My name is Thearthur, but I wanted to be, my middle name is Anthony, so I go by Tone, because Tone was cool. Thearthur is not cool. Thearthur is nerdy. Oh, Thearthur, where you get that name from? So I ain't go by Thearthur. I went by Tone because I wanted to be cool. And being a cool kid is not all the time the best route. You need to go with your A game, smart. And if I was in high school, I knew that just to do the positive things and let the positive thing take the course, go to school, that's what I should have did.
Thank you for sharing that. So, Kristen, what are key attributes of leaders?
I think the key attributes of a leader kind of go back to what we talked about at the beginning. Somebody who's willing to listen to their peers, listen to their superiors, listen to people who are younger and maybe coming up behind them for critiques, for positive reinforcement. Somebody who's always going to be willing to learn, to have an open mind. I have a unique position in my law firm right now where I have to supervise the staff. In addition to moving cases along to settlement, I also have to kind of be that administrator and be that leader among colleagues who are older than me, some been in the industry longer than me. So a lot of it is I have to listen to them, listen to their critiques, their input. What processes do they have that they've been doing for a long time that are working really well for them? And as a leader, not immediately trying to jump in and just change everything just for the sake of changing it, but really seeing where things are working very well. You can see my face on a billboard, but half the day I'm fixing broken printers and broken fax machines. Just being able to supply your skills and apply your skills where they're absolutely needed in the best way. I would say those are the attributes of a leader.
Thank you so much. So Daniel, as a leader in your industry, how do you handle stress? Because we can all can make some assumptions, but we would love to know, how do you handle the stress of being a leader in your industry?
We all face a lot of stress, and I think this applies to every single one of us, no matter what industry we're a part of. But I really want to talk about the power of the mind, the power of your own mindset. At the end of the day, there's a few things that we always have control over. And that thing is how we interpret what's going on. Before you go to bed every night, there's this space right before you sleep. What are you visualizing? What are you seeing for your life? Are you thinking about, oh, this person really, irritated me? Or can you reframe that and think about, you know what? That person was probably going through something. I'm going to let it go. Are you always repeating in your own mind how hard everything is without remembering to center gratitude? We are so blessed to be here, to be alive every day. Can we go back to that gratitude in our own mind? And so for me, shifting mindset and a foundation of faith in God has really grounded me and has allowed me to deal with very stressful situations, and also realize when people are freaking out, it's not about you, it's about them. Let them go through it and keep your own peace.
I like it. I like it. So Addison, stay with that, right? So piggyback on mindset, but then talk about routines, right? Like how do you get it all done?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely piggyback off that. The giving thanks part is important to me. My to-do list that I make every day on my phone, the first thing on there is give thanks. When I'm in the bed before I get up, I give thanks, and then I start to visualize my day. What am I going to do today? What are the positive things that I'm going to do today? What am I going to do for someone else today besides myself? Because sometimes, I got to get my daughter up, get her ready for school, get her going. What kind of positivity am I going to lay on her to get her through her day? And so for me, I get up and I start visualizing what I want to happen, right? So if I can visualize that, then I'm able to work through the things that get in the way of those visions coming to pass. Because I'm already got my day started. I know what I want to happen. And so now I'm prepared for my day. So when I'm prepared, now I can deal with the distractions that come with that. So I stay prepared. I stay ready, as I try to say. Don't get ready, stay ready. I stay ready. And that's in my daily practice. Yeah. From working out to giving thanks, to spending time with my family. When I got 5-6 projects going at the same time, how much am I going to spend here? What takes precedent? What doesn't take precedent? What can wait? And so for me, that daily routine that I've set for myself, and like I said, number one is giving thanks. The gratitude has kept me on that path to get things done throughout the day and make sure I can be a whole artist and make things happen.
All right, thank you. So Mark, we're just gonna build. So Mark, I know you have a certain mindset. I know you have routine. But when you go into the workplace, what are the challenges that you faced as a black man in corporate America?
Well, it's a little different for me now, right? So I work for the John R. Oshai Foundation, right? So we're a very, very large place-based funder, and we support many nonprofits, right? And so some of you may have family members that work at some of these nonprofits. We're not the hospital, right? We're the funder that provided the hospital the resources for the naming rights. I don't know if any of you remember Trico, maybe your parents do or have worked at Trico. And so at Trico, the employees there produce windshield wiper blades. And so so the resources for our fund came about as a result of the wealth, if you will, that was amassed by John R. Oshai Foundation, or John R. Oshai, and in doing that work. And so every single day, right, our work is about working with nonprofits to figure out how we strengthen them, right, to do the good work that they do. So it's not hard to get up every single day and to feel good about the work and attack the work. Sometimes it's stressful because you have to tell some organizations no, or some organizations may not be ready. And so the work and the stress and just sort of preparing for it is different in the nonprofit space. But when I worked in corporate America, it was really, really, really difficult. But I think the thing for me that was most important to be able to deal with that environment is always seeking clarity around my work. Clarity around what the expectations were, not only of me, but other folks that I was in relationship with, or folks that I was working with. So for me, that helped alleviate my stress, is getting that clarity about the expectations, so that I didn't have to guess on a regular basis. Much easier now, but when I was in corporate America, it was much tougher. But clarity was most important for me.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mark. So Shaka, you're in corporate America. I don't want to get you in trouble. But what are some of the challenges you've had faced as being a leader of color?
Yeah, so, and to be honest with you, it's not even just a leader of color, it's being a woman. Because I can tell you in the executive, even at an executive level of where I am, there are not many women at the table. There's actually not many black women at the table. And so that's definitely very challenging when you walk into a room and it's mostly white men. But you start to become comfortable in yourself, knowing and being confident in yourself. And I do feel that as time has gone on, I do have that self-confidence, because especially sitting next to, someone that may not look like you, or anyone in the room that may not look like you, you begin to realize that you have to work a little harder. And that's exactly what I've done over the last 23 years. So while maybe my counterpart or my peer may work 5 hours, I may be working 12 hours. But it has given me and it has allowed me some grace on myself, and to know that, hey, listen, I'm just as good as the next person. I'm just as good as everyone that's sitting at that table. And when you walk in with that self-confidence, they start to respect you more. But it has definitely been a challenge, but I can tell you that it gets easier. Just remember that, what they can do, you can do. And that's what I tell myself all the time. If they can do it, I can do it. And that has definitely given me the self-confidence. And, but again, it is definitely challenging. It's always going to be challenging, but hey, guess what? I'm up for the challenge.
All right, good. Okay, so what I want to do now is just take a quick pause. If you have any questions, please come down here to the front. There's microphones right here in the front. So if you have any questions for our panelists, please come down. We can start a line, and then we'll turn it over to you, and then one of us will answer your questions, okay? But again, the microphones are right here down in the front. So as we wait for our questions, the Arthur, share some of the people that have supported your growth as a leader and during your journey.
Well, as I said before, being a convicted felon, I got out of jail and basically decided to change my life. And in order for me to change my life and become an attorney, I had to have people, influential people in my corner. So I was blessed that I interned for Judge Ogden. When I was in law school, I worked for Assemblywoman Crystal Peoples-Stokes as administrative analyst, and my pastor. And these are people that when I became an attorney, I had to go in front of this character and fitness committee, and they was the people that voted whether or not I can become an attorney. So I was blessed to have these people, these individuals, write letters for me in order for me to become an attorney. Now, they didn't just write letters for me on face value and just because I asked them. I earned their trust. And a lot of times with my background, people might give you some lip service, and because coming out of jail, people say, oh, I'm gonna change, I'm gonna do the right thing, and they don't, and they disappoint. So I had to earn their trust. I had to show that I have changed, that I was willing to do the right thing, and that I had changed, because nobody's gonna vouch for you and put their name behind you and then you mess up, because that's gonna mess it up for the next person. So if I vouch for you and you mess up, and then if I vouch for the next person, they'd be like, oh, well, I'm not gonna help this person because the last person you sent to me messed up. So when someone is trusting you and you earn that trust, you gotta do the right thing. And so that's an onus that I have, because people vouch for me that I can't mess this up. I can't be like, okay, we let Thearthur become an attorney and he's a felon and look what he's doing. Because the next person behind me, if he wants to become an attorney, they go say, well, Thearthur messed up, so we're not gonna give them a chance. So when people vouch for you, which I had these people vouch for me, I had to do the right thing. And I had earned their trust, and I showed them that I changed. So that's something you have to do. You have to earn people's trust, and don't mess it up for the person that's coming behind you.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. All right, so we have one question over here.
Hi, I'm Amelia. I'm from Olmsted, and my question is for you. I forgot your name. I'm sorry. Okay.
It's Thearthur.
But my question was, you answered my questions already. So my question is, despite like everything that you had went through, like trying to gain people's trust and anything, did you have any doubts yourself about if you could make it or not, getting out of jail to become a law person?
You said, did I have doubts that I could make it?
Yes, did you doubt yourself at any point in time that you could do it or get this far in life?
Well, first of all, I had trust in God that I could do it. That I know that anything I ask in his name, that he will do it for me. And I was raised in a church, and I was like the prodigal son that went out in the streets and messed up, and then came back, and God received me back with open arms, and he blessed me. So I knew that he was with me and that I could do it because I had God in my life. And I just had to be patient and let him work his magic, you know, and that's the thing, that you have to believe in yourself, and you got to do the work, because faith without works is dead. But at the same time, I knew I could do it, and that I just did the work. And people thought, like, you can't be no attorney, you a felon. And still, a couple of years ago, they asked me, you paralegal? No, I'm not a paralegal. I'm a sworn attorney, federally and state. I practice in the federal court as well as state court. And basically, you have to believe in yourself. And another thing I just wanted to make a comment, don't ever believe what they say. I don't know no parent to ever name their child they. So you can't, it's no they say. You have to do the research for yourself. And I was told I couldn't get financial aid as a felon, and I got it. And I was told that I couldn't get into this place as a felon. It's things people are gonna tell you, and they, oh, you can't do that. Do your own research. I'm not gonna say no names. I spoke to a community college here in Buffalo that had a criminal justice department, and they were telling their students that you couldn't become an attorney as a felon. A whole community college, not high school, not just people talking, a college were telling their students you couldn't become an attorney as a felon. And so I went and spoke to them, and the lady told me, she was like, Thearthur, I need you to come to our school, speak to our department, the heads of the department, the whole school, because we're telling kids wrong information. So you got to do the research yourself. Don't believe what they say. Do the research. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. There's going to be some hurdles. You know what I'm saying? If it's anything if it was easy, everybody would have it. So it's going to be some hurdles. But you got to fight the good fight. Believe in yourself. And again, get good people in your corner. Like you had like internship, volunteer, good people in your corner that'll vouch for you. And whatever you put your mind to it, you can do it.
Thank you, thank you. All right, so we have a question over here. Please, everyone, stand up and please come over, ask some questions. Because if not, Alexis is going to take the microphone and start walking around and putting it in front of your face. Alexis, yes. All right, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Natalia. I go to Performing Arts, and I have a question for any of you. You guys can answer it. Was there ever a time where it felt like you hit rock bottom and there was no way of coming back up?
Yeah, the question is, has anyone ever hit rock bottom and then has come back up?
I don't want to do all the talking. Go ahead.
I would like to share a time that hit rock bottom for me that was not an uncommon experience would have been Friday the 13th, March of 2020, when the governor made an executive order that the New York State courts were going to be shut down. And my supervisor, I was working for a very fancy law firm downtown, said everybody's going to work from home. And so I'm plugging away, trying to adapt to working from home for the first time. And we have to do this thing called billable hours. If you ever ask anybody what that means, it's really awful. I never want to do it again. But I'm working hard, trying to calculate my billables, and suddenly I get a news alert saying the government and the stores are going to shut down. And I say, well, what do I do? Do I close my computer and try to go to the grocery store and get some food? Probably for the last time for a couple weeks. Who knows when these stores are going to be open again? Or do I sit here and continue to work and try to make my billables for the day? I made the very tough choice. I said, you know what? I'm just going to go to the store really quick and try to get a few essentials and come home. When I came home, I got a call saying, you're laid off from your job. I had a brand new mortgage. I had no health insurance in the middle of a public health crisis. So there's people at this job who live with their parents. You're going to lay off the person who's got a brand new house and no health insurance? So that was a low point. 2 weeks later, I started in the Erie County DA's office and learned an entirely new practice of law, learned criminal law from the bottom up, and now that I look back at it, it was essential that I got laid off and started that new venture into the government and learned criminal law from the inside out. Because now, in my private practice, we are taking on a one-of-a-kind case, a case that nobody else has ever done in the country. We are suing Google, we are suing Facebook, we are suing Snapchat. Yes, stay off Snapchat. We're suing about 8 different social media companies, including 4chan, Reddit, Discord, Facebook, okay, all of them. Yup, we're suing all of them for brainwashing the mass shooter for causing the shooting here in Buffalo 2 years ago. As a matter of fact, we just on Monday kicked all of those social media companies' butts, okay? They filed a motion to dismiss our lawsuit. Guess what? We beat them. We won.
Thank you.
But a case like that requires me to absolutely know what's going on in the criminal law, how to look at a criminal file, how to look at criminal evidence. If I had stayed at that boring, stuffy law firm doing billables in my living room every day, I never would have learned that. So hitting rock bottom is having to pay $1,200 a month on a mortgage and having $700 in my bank account and no health insurance, and 2 weeks later starting the process to learn the essential knowledge that I'm going to need for the biggest fight of my life.
That's amazing. Amazing. Thank you. So,
Thank you.
all right. So over here, question.
Yes, hello. I wanted to ask Mr. Croy a question. I'm really into like acting and stuff, and I was just wondering, like, how was that journey for you being an up-and-coming actor, and if like networking is really the thing, or if you need to have talent and that type of stuff?
So, Addison here is an actor as well and a filmmaker, so I'm sure we can both offer some perspectives on this. The journey of acting is so powerful We have such an opportunity to deeply understand humanity, to understand things that other people may never even get to explore. And so it really is a treasure. And as long as you hold on to the power and the beauty of that, nothing will stop you. One thing I definitely want to say, though, is that your proximity really does matter. If you want to become a great actor, you want to make sure that you're around great actors. And that applies to all of you, no matter what you have stirring up in there. If you have a dream, if you have something, you want to get around the people who are the best at what they do. That can sometimes be hard when sometimes you look around and say, I don't see it. Where they at? You find them and you go, even if it's hard. There is always a way. You can always ask for help. And remember that you're not alone. That part of you that wants to do that is following in a lineage of greatness. There are so many incredible actors and artists who look just like you, who have gone down different roads just like you, and you carry all of that knowledge with them. Anytime you say their name, recall their work, honor them, you're not alone in this, so just keep going.
Great, thank you. All right. Over here, next question.
I'm Brian Price from MST. Any of you can answer this. Have you ever received hate for what you do best? Like, from socially, physically? Any of you can answer.
Yeah. Does anybody have dealt with hate before? Hate, whether it's social, physical, hate. Did I say that correctly?
You know, I think haters, right? Yeah, that's, there's this old saying in this rap song, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping, right?
Yep.
And so, I look at life like that, and I used to have this bad, crazy, bad dream that I would just be a failure, and all my haters would just laugh and cheer over my corpse, right? And so I decided to myself, I said, all those haters, I'm gonna prove them who I am. A person that's destined for greatness, a person that's not waiting for greatness, a person that's making greatness happen, not only for myself, but the people around me. So haters and naysayers, they only inspire me to be greater.
Good, that's amazing. Good, thank you. I can't stay up here with y'all. This is like, I gotta get out here. We're going over here, questions.
Hi, I have a question for the criminal justice attorney. After you got out of jail, what persuaded you to become a criminal justice?
Can't hear her.
I got you. Okay. Yep, so this is going to, did you say? Criminal justice attorney. What made you decide to become an attorney?
Well, everybody, when they're younger, it's always the dream jobs, doctor, lawyer, what have you. I always wanted to be a lawyer when I was younger. But, of course, I strayed away from becoming a lawyer, trying to be a basketball star and a drug dealer. But when I got out of jail, my whole purpose was that since I was a convicted felon, I couldn't really get a good job. So my whole idea at first was, when I went back to school, to get a degree, to put some letters behind my name to reflect off the fact that I was a felon. So when filling out a resume and filling out a job application, I could put the Arthur Duncan bachelor's degree or master's degree, or at least something to reflect this big felon behind my name when they did a background check. And basically, when I got into ECC, I was doing well, and I had a discussion with a professor, and he basically asked me what I was going to do after I graduated from ECC with my associates. And I told him, I said, I always wanted to be an attorney, but I can't be an attorney now. And he quizzed me. He was like, well, why not? I said, well, because I'm a convicted felon, and I just did 3 years in federal prison. And so he said, does that stop you from becoming an attorney? And I said, oh, sure. I didn't know any better, and that's why I was saying to the other young lady to do the research. Do the research to find out. And I found out that I could still become an attorney as a felon. And basically, I went to undergrad, went to law school, and then I was able to become an attorney. And so that, again, in the beginning, I was just trying to get a degree to deflect from me being a felon, and I wind up becoming an attorney and realizing my dream.
All right, thank you. Over here.
Hi, my name is James. I'm from Burgard, and I wanted to ask a question about: was there a point in your life where you felt like you want to give up, but something made you get back up and keep going? Anybody can answer.
Yeah. Was there a point where you felt like you were going to give up on something and you just kept going?
Yeah. What was the reason that made you keep going?
I'll take that. This is a safe space, right? Y'all not going to judge me?
No,
Yeah?
don't judge you.
So I graduated from high school in Niagara Falls, New York, and I was a pretty bright kid. And when I graduated, I wanted to go to Howard University, right? Some of you may have relatives or friends that have gone to Howard, but I'm the oldest of 5, single mother. And Mom was like, listen, I got 5 of y'all, we ain't got Howard money, right? And so I'd earned a scholarship to Niagara University, a presidential scholarship. And I did embarrassingly bad at Niagara. I mean, I failed almost every single class. Almost every class. And it's interesting, like I haven't gotten comfort with that to the point where I've been able to tell people that story, right? Because I've always been looked at as sort of that person. He's the one that's gonna make it. But I did embarrassingly bad. And so I could have given up on college, and if it were not for my mother, God bless her, you know, she didn't condemn me for my inability to be able to work through my academic challenges. She knew exactly what was going on, and she said, listen, son, it's still 5 of you. We got to find a way to get you to an HBCU. And I looked at a number of HBCUs, and ultimately we got into Cheyney University. That's the nation's first historically black college. It's part of the Pennsylvania higher education system, and I flourished. And so I just think for me, I had a mother who was really, really understanding, and she really helped me sort of pick myself up off the mat. You know, to keep marching towards, you know, what it is I really wanted to do. But, you know, in that moment, I could have succumbed to my poor academic performance and just said, I can't do this, but I was able to muster through it. So,
all right, thank you. So everyone, I want you to realize that everyone's stories, they've been through a journey. They've had to pick themselves up. That's part of being leadership. You're going to bump your head, but then from there, you can do amazing things.
This is for Daniel Croy. While I don't watch BET, I just was curious. What were some of the struggles you had while acting in the show The Oval? Like, were there any personal issues that you had to deal with, like with family or anything like that?
Every different job has its own challenges, and every different new environment and experience has its own challenges. So I think one thing we don't talk about sometimes is the challenge that it takes to go higher. We have an idea of who we are that essentially puts a framework on what we see as possible. And so sometimes when really good things start to happen, sometimes when we're in a new season of growth or prosperity, just as a season of hard times can bring out new ideas, there's a resistance because it's change. So there was just a lot of change. All of a sudden, I have to figure out a new way of working, a fast pace, a new environment. The volume volume of the work, it was just a lot of it felt very new to me. But in those spaces where we're in a new chapter in our lives, sometimes we have to remember it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for advice. So I would say just the newness of the experience, it opened my mind, and it helped me to be unafraid to just ask for help from someone else who's been there before.
All right, thank you. Okay. Over here, young lady.
This question is for any of you. Was there a difficult time either growing up or in your career that you felt you were treated different because of the color of your skin?
I could actually answer that, and I think I kind of alluded to it earlier, being in an industry where it is predominantly, especially at the level that I am, white males. But there was a time where, as I was trying to move up the ladder, and I was told, you got hired for the job that you got hired for, which was a customer service rep, and that's where you should stay. There was other times where, I went to apply for jobs, and again, predominantly, white. So, and I will also say this, a lot of times it's about who you know, and especially in the industry that I work in, depending on who you know and the crowd that you're with, normally they will select, as far as moving up, they'll select their friend, or they'll select someone that looks like them. And if you don't look like them, it's really hard to get, to that next level. So there was also time where, I was called out of my name, and it's interesting just because, not because of my performance, because I felt that I performed exceptionally well, but because they were afraid of what I was going to bring because of the color of my skin, I wasn't accepted. So it was definitely, it has been a challenging road, but what I will say, you have to keep your faith, and I think even Tone alluded to it as well, believing in God and making sure that He's at the forefront. And I'm telling you, it worked out for the better, and it worked out for the best. So absolutely, there's challenges.
Thank you. All right. It's really hard sometimes for me to moderate because I want to get on my soapbox, right? And so I want to talk about hard work. None of this happens without hard work. None of this happens without hard work. You can have all the dreams you want, but without hard work, you're not going to get there. You're going to bump your head. But you got to pick yourself up, and with hard work, you will get there. Hard work. Sorry.
My name is Cadet Dahl.
I'm sorry, I get excited.
Yes. Okay. I'm Cadet Dahl from McKinley, JRTC. I got a question from Mr. Arthur. What is one advice that you would give as an attorney to somebody who's trying to study law?
What was the question?
What is one advice that you would give as an attorney to somebody who's trying to study law?
What's the advice I would give someone who's trying to study law?
Correct.
As far as what, academically or?
Yeah, academically.
Or I think Christian would I can echo my thoughts. If academically you're trying to go to law school, undergrad, don't take any law courses. Take English classes, political science classes, English. Law is about comprehension, understanding, and good writing skills. I made the mistake, I undergrad in legal studies, and it didn't help me in law school. So if you're serious about becoming an attorney and going to law school, take a lot of writing courses, English comprehension, and stuff like that, logical courses, logic, and that will help you in law school if that's the route you want to go.
Christian, anything to add?
I would definitely agree. What your undergraduate
degree is doesn't really matter that much for law school. Matter of fact, some of the most competitive classmates I had in law school were registered nurses. They came and kicked all our butts in law school because they were used to studying for a long time. They were used to really focusing. I would say just pick whatever undergrad truly interests you, so that way when you get to law school, you have some context of the real world outside of this legal bubble that we live in to apply it to. I mean, I don't know if you would agree with me, but we're kind of in a legal bubble. If you can have some sort of outside experience and outside perspective to bring into it, that'll serve you really well. But keep reading, keep an interest in reading, because that's mostly what you're going to be doing is reading a lot.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Hi, I have a question for Daniel. I wanted to know, was it hard to get different acting opportunities outside of Buffalo?
What was that?
Was it hard to get different acting opportunities outside of Buffalo?
Outside of Buffalo?
Yeah.
So, yes and no, right? Because in Buffalo, I just want to give credit actually right now to my teacher named Lorna Hill, who I'm sure some of you are familiar with. That's right. That's right. So, and you mentioned it too, Ujima Theater Company. That was such a foundational place for me to grow as an artist, cultivate as an artist. Also, my theater teachers at the Performing Arts School, Miss Kelly Buth, who's in the back over there, Andrew Kotler. Yeah, it really, but also there were theater companies here, Torn Space Theater, Kavanoki Theater, New Phoenix Theater. If you're in Buffalo, do Buffalo and do it as hard as you can, because there are so many stages here. There's Shakespeare in the Park. There's so many places for you to be able to cultivate your craft. I promise you, if you're trying to be an actor or performer, if you grow up in New York City, it's harder for you to get on stage there than it is here. There's actually stages here that you can get on. So when I was here, and this is just going back to what we were talking about writing and reading. The only way I was able to get on the stages out here is because I would write to people. I would find the contact. I would get the business card. I would look on the website. I would write to them. I would say, listen, I'm an actor at the high school. I want to be in the play. Get no response. Next year, send it again. Get no response. Next year, send it again. Oh, here, come to audition. Go to the audition. Get the play. You know, you just keep going. You find the places you can get in. So definitely, there were so many opportunities here in Buffalo for me to just come up. There were also opportunities, though, that I knew would have to be outside of Buffalo for me to continue on and to just expand, not only in my craft as an actor, but also in my life. And so I do think the travel that I've done, you know, being in New York City, being in LA, being international, those are things that are extremely nourishing as well. So when those doors come, I would encourage you to take them too. But it's also at the same time, it's so good to be home. And being here today, seeing all of you, it just encourages me to just keep coming back and keep being a part of this place. I'm so grateful for Buffalo, and I'm so grateful for all of you. So, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, and I wanna piggyback too on the opportunity, right? Because, you know, being from Buffalo, you understand the wealth of talent that's here, right? I know that, right? Just being a native and just being around. And so when I made my last film, I was like, I'm gonna come back to Buffalo, and instead of outsourcing my actors from New York or LA, I'm gonna get them from here, because I know the talent is here, right? And so I did that, hired a casting director, auditioned some of the best actors, and I literally found one of the best actors I've ever seen in my life, and she's in my movie. And she had never been in a film, a stage beast, stage giant, Pam Mangus. And I put her in my film, and she was just everything, right? And I want to put her in everything going forward. So when you talk about opportunities, I knew that people was here, and I wanted to create opportunities that people didn't have. And so that's why I came back, and I cast out of Buffalo, and it was one of the best decisions I ever made.
Oh, that's great. So, again, we are at time, and I am so sorry. I knew time was going to fly.
But we are at time. So please, round of applause to our panelists. And, you know, students, you will have an opportunity to meet our panelists later, backstage for pictures and things like that. And I also want to say thank you to everyone that is watching on live stream. We really appreciate you, so thank you. All right, so you guys can, thank you. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
All right,
We love
round of
y'all.
applause.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Yep, so yep, you can, oh, hey, ooh, you got, yep, we're gonna take a quick picture, Carl. Yep, there we go.